Welcome, Suprit sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So let us start with the second session. So in the second session, we'll be covering the remaining a few important concepts left out in Node.js. Then we'll be moving on to Web3 Js. So let me just present the slides. Please confirm if you can see the screen so that I can start with the next sessions. Hello, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so the next important concept would be the file system. So file system is one of the important package which has already been built in. So we'll be seeing what exactly file system package is and how to access information about files and how to list out all the files using Node.js. So there's a small code again. Participants, please start typing the code. So the name of the package for file systems is FS, small f and small s. So we can actually see this in the documentation given on the website. So if you have any queries, you can just go and look online. So FS is the name given to file systems. So let us write a small code to list out all the files in the current directory. I hope the code is visible now. I have zoomed in. So it's just 3 lines of code. So first thing is you are importing a package called as FS, that is file systems. Then there's an inbuilt function, fs.read directory, read is for reading, dir is directory, sync synchronous mode. So // is the current directory. Whatever files are present in the current directory, you have to list out all of these. So this is the meaning of this entire code. So let us just run them. Then I'll show you what exactly is synchronous and asynchronous mode of reading files. So can you all see the command prompt? Is it visible? I'm executing in command prompt right now. If not, I'll just change. Can someone just confirm? Is my command prompt visible? Participants, can you just confirm if you can see my command prompt?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We could see.
Yeah, thank you. So as you can see, this particular piece of code lists out all the files in the current directory. Dot slash conveys that all the files in the existing directory. If you want to list out files present in a particular directory, you have to give the complete URL. If not for the URL, if you want it for the current directory, it's dot slash. So let us see what are the files present in the current directory. So can you see here? It's app.js and app2.js. Remember, we created two JavaScript files initially here. So if you can see on the left-hand side, these two files have been created in Node.js folder, which is present on the desktop. We created this in the first session. So now we are listing the files present in that particular folder. So this is a synchronous way of listing out all the files. So next, there is asynchronous way of listing out all the files. This happens one by one, as I had explained before using the concept of a restaurant. So this is happening one file by another file. Now there is one mechanism through which we can list out all files simultaneously. So when we are listing out all files simultaneously, so there are chances of errors happening. So we have to take care of the errors as well. So let us see how the code looks like. So the first statement remains the same. It is for importing file system package. So the changes come from the second line of code. Just to pay attention to the keywords here. Before it was read dir sync, read director sync. Now it is just read dir. That's it. There is no sync here. Okay, so again, we are specifying the path. So from which path we have to read out all the files asynchronously. Dot slash conveys that it is the current folder. Now we have to write a function. We can define a function within a function. So it is easy to do. So there are two parameters. One is the error message and one is the files. So if there is an error, we have to print out an error message while searching for the files. If there are no errors, we'll directly print all the files. So this is the code for printing all the files in an asynchronous mechanism. So let me just confirm all the brackets, because this is a bit confusing, because we are defining a function within an inbuilt function here. So we have to be very careful. There might be chances that we might miss brackets, and that would lead to some errors. So the first statement is for importing file systems. So for the second statement onwards, to read all the files and to print them on console. So let us just check. Okay, so no errors. So as you can see, results, it has been retrieved asynchronously. Obviously, you can't. There are no visible changes that can be seen from synchronous way and asynchronous way. It all depends on the concept and algorithm. So to retrieve files in an asynchronous way, this is the code that has to be used. Now what we can do is, since we have given an error message here, so let us change the directory. Let us give some directory. It's not a directory, basically. It's just a mistake that it has been committed purposefully. So in this particular directory, there won't be any files. So I have replaced slash by dollar. So this doesn't imply anything. So let us see what output this particular thing would is. So as you can see, it printed error because we have taken care of the edge condition. So there is an error in finding files in this particular directory. So error has been printed and error code has been listed out here. As you can see here, error number, error code, then all the other things. So path, at this path, this path does not exist as well. Dot dollar path does not exist. So there are no files which are displayed there. So this is all about file systems. Now let us move into last two important concepts, that is events and HTTP. So these two are very, very important. So all these, whatever you saw till now, they were just basics and the concepts. Now let us explore events and HTTP. Okay, sorry for that. So what exactly is an event? So let us consider a scenario wherein you log into a website, taken Facebook again, you enter your username and password and you click on enter. So what happens, there is a request is being sent to the server with your username and password. So the server has to confirm that it has received the following details, that is your username and password. Once the server confirms that the data has been received, it will fetch for the data in the database and it will then reply back. So this is the entire scenario. Now let us build a small example. So let us just type in the program. Then I'll explain the code line by line so that you'll be able to understand what's exactly happening and what we are up to here. Okay, so we are discussing about another built-in package called as events. So you need to download this particular package called as events. We'll be saving it in a variable called as event emitter. So again, this is a standard process of importing any built-in package. So first sentence is about importing your package. Now, event is a type of a class. Okay, so we are creating a new object. So this is majorly dealt in object-oriented programming concept. So basically, we are creating a new object of the type class. So this is a class that we have downloaded, and from that class, we are developing a new object. So event emitter is equal to new event emitter. So this is how we go it. So then emitter dot on. So message sent, and this is a function message received. So just forget about this particular part of the code. Now just jump to emitter dot emit. So what happens is whenever an event broadcasts anything, so from this particular flow, the control comes to here emitter.emit. This particular message sent or this particular whatever message is there, as soon as this particular thing is broadcasted, this emitter on, this is a listener basically. This part of the code is a listener. It will keep listening for this particular phrase. So whenever this phrase has been emitted, it will automatically print message received. So till this particular statement gets executed, this listener will not be functional. It will be in a sleeping mode. Once this message has been emitted or broadcasted, the listener will kind of transfer the control to this particular statements, and it will check. So there is message sent which is being emitted. So what I have to do, I have to execute this particular function. So it will type in a very small example of events. So let us just quickly execute it. There are some errors. Let me just check. Okay, let me just come back to it later because it's about classes and objects. There's a conflict in names for the class and objects. I'll just revise later. I'll just save it for. But I hope you got the concept. So let me just come again. So events is a package which is built in. So we are importing events, and the name is event emitter. We are importing it as an event emitter in this particular variable. So what we are doing in the next sentence is we are creating a new object which is of type event emitter. So this is an object creation. And what happens is whenever this program is run, so this is a listener part. This entire part is a listener message. So this will be inactive always. So whenever something has been emitted or whenever something has been activated, so when it comes to this particular line, a message sent will be emitted. So once message sent has been emitted, this listener will listen to this message sent, which is same as here. Then this function will get activated. So this is how the entire thing works. I'll just come back to this, after a while because there are some syntax errors. I'm not able to run it here. Let us move on to the next concept. So next, we will be exploring something called as HTTP. So this is also one of the most important things, and it is very interesting. I'll just save this for later. So please don't type the first lines. It's just for our naming conventions. So let us import again the set process. So this is the standard process of importing the package called as a HTTP. Let us just. Okay, everyone, can you see HTTP built-in function here? So we have clicked on the HTTP built-in function, and this is how it looks like. These are all the different inbuilt functions which are available from the HTTP package, inbuilt package. So we'll be using a few of them, and we'll perform some small operations. These are all the list of inbuilt functions which are available. So we are basically creating a client server mechanism here. So this is the code to create a server. So these two lines, first line, we are going to include the package called as HTTP. That's a built-in package. Second line, we are creating a server. Okay, so let me just explain this particular code. So this has to be removed while executing. So in the first line, we are again downloading the pre-built package called as HTTP. Then we are creating a server. So constant server is equal to http.create server. So we are turning on the server. So what happens is we'll, after running this particular code, we will open our Google Chrome. Then we will log into this particular socket. So what is 3000? It's a socket number. So this is a new concept here. This annotation is used to define a function. Basically, you can type in a function. You're going to pass in an argument called as socket, and you can type this. Or this is another way to define a function. So whatever comes within this is an argument, and this is the opening and closing brackets. It indicates it's a function followed by is equal to an arrow mark. So this is another notation to define a function. Okay, so please note down that. So what happens is whenever someone opens Google Chrome and logins to socket number 3000, this particular message would be displayed on our terminal or the command prompt. Someone has logged in. Let us just check. Everyone, please, I'll just give 1 minute. Type this entire code and run that. Then you have to open Google Chrome and you have to go to localhost 3000. I'll show you how that has to be done. So as you can see, once you have run the program successfully, you keep getting this message called as listening to port 3000, right? So this part of the code is running. The server is listening. So what we should do next is open Chrome. So just wait, you'll be getting a response. You have to open Chrome and type in localhost 3000. Did anyone get a response on command prompt? So once you have got listening to port, you would have got a response from server. That is someone logged in. Can anyone tell me if you have got the output? You need to press Control C to come out of the previous program's execution, in order to execute again. Okay, I guess there is some issue, or it is a local host. It has to pop in. Let us just check. Let's try once again and let's see. Okay, I'll just check again. I'll keep this also noted. You need to get this particular response whenever you open, the Google Chrome and type in localhost 3000. You'll be getting this particular response on the command prompt. I'll take it at the end again. So let me just check if there are any particular errors. Now, again, there is a updated version of this particular code. Let us see if that's going to work. Let us try our luck there. Okay, so next let us explore request and response concept in HTTP. We'll come back to this. We'll see what exactly the error is. Uh, Now the new concept is request and response in HTTP. So the first line remains the same. That is, you have to import a HTTP package. So next you have to create a server object. So in this server object, we are passing the request and response parameters. So I'll be showing you how exactly it has to be done. REQ is for request, RES is for response. Again, this is a new way to define functions. You need not explicitly type function. You can just put the argument in brackets and put the symbol. It automatically gets considered as a function. Open curly braces and write the following code. Let me just run this and I'll explain the code again. Yes, okay. So this worked luckily. So what's happening is, if it is, we are creating request and response systems using HTTP. Yeah. So what happens is in the default URL, if we pass any request using Node.js slash, in the sense it's a default URL, we are not going to give any particular path. So if it is default, it's going to be welcome home. If it is slash block, it will be welcome to block. So based on the kind of response that we send, you will get a particular reply. So what was the response that we are going to give? It was a request, URL request that we were forwarding. For that particular URL request, we were getting welcome home. Now let us pass another URL request with this particular URL. Yeah, it said welcome block. So based on whatever URL that you forward, you will get a respective response to that. So by this code, what we have to understand is the request response concept being clearly demonstrated here using the concept of packages, built-in packages. So HTTP is a built-in package majorly dealt in the web framework for sending requests and receiving responses from the server. So what we are trying to do is we are creating a server here. We are sending request and response. So whenever our request is for the default local host, that is the default path, we will get an output called as welcome to home. So whenever we send a URL request with a custom URL request, so let us name something else. Okay, so we can name anything in the request. We'll get that particular response. So instead of block, we can tell it as hello. So we can just run this. So in the browser, what we have to type is localhost 3000. Now we got the output. So whatever request that you are sending, based on that we can design the outputs. So this is the concept of HTTP built-in package. So by this we have come to the end of basics of Node.js. I hope you have got all the concepts. Just one or two outputs, I'll resolve it later. It is because of the classes and objects name clashes. I'll resolve that. One example has to be sorted out later. I'll just take up that once I finish Web3 Js. Now I hope we have got a complete idea of what exactly Node.js is, where it is being used, what are the built-in packages. Okay, so these were all the basics. Now let us move on to something called as Web3 Js. I'll just turn the presentation for that. Yeah. So talking about conventional networks. So this is how our conventional networks are being functional right now. So there is one central server. There are multiple end clients, as you can see here. So there is a laptop one, there is a web browser, there is laptop two, organization one, home computer. Multiple clients are connected to a single server. But talking about blockchain works in a different way because in blockchain there is no central server concept. It is completely decentralized. So data is not held in one particular system. Data is shared among all the systems which is present in blockchain. So this is how a conventional system works. Now let us move on to the Web3 JS concept, and let us see how things are working in a blockchain network. So let us consider an Ethereum network here. So as you can see in this image, I'll just change the presentation. Just give me a second. Yeah, hope this particular image is visible. So as you can see in this entire network, so this is how the complete blockchain network is built upon. As you can see, all are interconnected and it is completely decentralized. It's an Ethereum network that we are talking about. All the systems are interconnected and every system is called as a node. Okay, so in any blockchain there will be a starting node. So we'll consider this particular system as a starting node. Now, why we use Web3 JS is Web3 JS is basically used to fetch the local data or the local blockchain data from this entire network, because there is no centralized system. As you can see in the previous case, there is a simple connection, right? Every system is being connected to a central server using a concept called as jQuery. This system will ask for some information. This system will give back the information. But when we talk about an Ethereum network or a blockchain network, you just can't ask data for one particular system because data is shared with all these systems. So this is where Web3 JS comes into play. So Web3 JS, so this is where the entire Web3 JS is going to be placed in this complete scenario of fetching the information from the blockchain. So what happens is Web3 JS in association with an intermediary a layer here. I'll explain about this layer in a short while. So what it does is it attaches to one particular node. So this is called as a starting node in any blockchain. So this will get connected to the starting node and it will fetch the local blockchain copy. If you remember the concept of blockchain, every system will have a local blockchain copy. So if you would remember that, please relate it to this particular concept. So this particular local blockchain copy will be accessed by an client, Ethereum client. So what is an Ethereum client? How to create one Ethereum client? We'll be exploring in just a few minutes now. So Ethereum client will be connected to Web3 JS and Web3 JS along with JSON RPC. So again, there's one more concept called as JSON and RPC. So JSON and RPC are two different things. I'll explain what is JSON. So JSON is basically JavaScript object notation. So any data which is expressed as key value pair is called as JSON. Basically, it's an object notation. Large amounts of data can be split into key value pairs and it can be exchanged using JSON format. This is the most widely used format, JSON format, to exchange data in the browsers. Now there is something called as RPC, remote procedure calls. So RPC is a remote procedural call which is upcoming from all these Java programs or JavaScript programs, or there might be any Python programs on the outermost end. So these actually call for a remote procedural call. So these RPCs will send a call to these Ethereum client. This Ethereum client will be attached to one particular node or one particular system in this entire blockchain. So this particular systems or this particular node's local blockchain copy or local data will be given to this particular Ethereum client. This Ethereum client will transfer it to all these programs which are requesting through Web3 interface, that is Web3 JS interface in the format of JSON. So this is the entire concept. I have some Okay, these are some explanations. It is completely decentralized. It is not a centralized system, just like I shown you in the conventional networking model. So no single system to load and fetch the blockchain data. So if it was like this, there was a single system through which you can attach and get all the data from. But consider this scenario, it can't attach to any particular system because data is present in all these systems. So there is not a single system where it can attach and fetch the blockchain data. Then every system will hold a duplicate set of blockchain data. So this is the entire concept of blockchain. Again, data is completely distributed amongst all the systems. It is not centralized to any one particular system. And you might be asking why this particular system we have chosen. You can consider any particular node in this entire blockchain. So it does not matter that we have to, it's not mandatory that we have to choose this system or this system. Any system we can get attached to. So how do we attach to a particular system? Every system in this blockchain will have a set of addresses. So we will be setting up that address. I'll give a complete demo of that in the next few slides. So it's going to be a live project that we'll be doing. So let us explore that. So we can attach to any particular system using the address which will be present. Okay, so every system will hold a duplicate set of blockchain data. Then blockchain data is transferred through JSON format. So as you can see here, all the data, all the local blockchain data is transferred to all these requesting clients in JSON format. I told you what JSON is: JavaScript object notation. Anything which is expressed as key value pair is called as JSON, and it's a remote procedural call. All these scripts execute a RPC to this particular client through Web3 interface asking for some blockchain data. So what this particular layer does is it gets attached to one system using its address, fetches the local blockchain copy, and then it transfers to all these clients using RPC. I hope this has given a complete idea of how things work in an Ethereum or a blockchain model compared to an existing conventional network model. You're getting data is very easy because there's a single system. You're getting data is very difficult because data is being distributed with all these systems. Now there are only 6 systems that you can see. In reality, there'll be thousands of systems which are associated with each other, and data is present in all these systems. So we are associating with any one of the systems. Next, Web3 JS is used to fetch the local blockchain data present in the decentralized systems through JSON RPC. So this is the main use. I'm sorry. So this is the last statement. What is the main use of Web3 JS in this entire project? Web3 JS is used to fetch the local blockchain data present in the decentralized systems through JSON RPC. So this is the main use. Now we'll do some installations and we'll perform a small blockchain-based project. This is a micro project, and tomorrow will be the major project again. So let us explore that particular project. I'll give you the installation steps. Please follow them one by one, and I'll show them how it has to be done. Okay, I would request everyone to open a command prompt. So once you open command prompt, you need to install Web3. So installing Web3 is pretty simple. It's just type in npm install Web3. So this is a simple command, and let me just remind you, there might be multiple errors. So please ignore all those errors. And if you don't get this particular statement, then you have not installed it properly. If you are getting this particular statement, it says updated 1 package and audited 576 packages in 3.76 seconds. If you're getting some messages like these, then you need not worry. These are just warnings. You can just ignore them because of depreciation and deprecation. There'll be multiple libraries will not be valid now. So that's the reason you might get some errors. But if you're getting this message, then it's all right. You have installed it. And sometimes if you're getting a lot of errors, you have to try this command. Just note down this command. It's in audit fix. What happens is when you run this audit fix, Previously, if there are some missing packages, that will get fixed again. So now there are no packages that are required. It has already been installed. So now let us just a second. Let me just reinstall it from scratch because I had already installed it. Yeah, it says updated, and this is the version. So we have Web3 installed. So you can ignore all the errors and warnings. So if you are getting this plus Web3 at 1.3.1, you have it installed perfectly. So you need not worry. Now let us move on to something called as Infuria.io. I want everyone to just open Google Chrome and log into Infuria.io. I'll just type it for you. Yeah, I want everyone to type into infura.io, infura.io. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, I want everyone to create an account in this particular domain, infura.io. Infura is an Ethereum API. So it's an Ethereum client which is used to connect to Web3 Js. So in my previous presentation, I had already explained to you that there's a middle layer, that is the Ethereum, layer that would be present in between the W3, the Web3 JS and the Ethereum network. So this is that particular network. I'll just open the slide and show it to you. So if you can see in the slide, so this middle triangle layer, which is the client layer, that is the Ethereum client. So this is the Infura. So this is the Infura that we are going to install. Now we have already installed Web3, that is the yellow circle part. So this particular part is already done. Now let us move on to this triangle part. So this is the Ethereum client. Now we are downloading an Ethereum client. So how do you register? Get started for free. I have already signed in. I think you have to sign up. Please sign up and you will get a mail to your registered email. So you have to go there and you have to confirm. So once you confirm, I'll be going through the next steps. So how you have to create some, Ethereum, how you need to fetch the address of some ongoing transactions. I'll be explaining to that. Everyone, please sign up. I have already signed in. So I want everyone to sign up and I want you to come to the main page. So once you are in the main page, you need to click on Ethereum. I'll just give 2 minutes. Everyone, please register here. It's very important. I'll just repeat the process again for just go to infura.io, infura. So this is the Ethereum client that we are going to use. So infura.io, then you have to sign up. So once you sign up, you will be giving your email address. So go to your respective email, then just confirm your email address. This will get activated. So once it gets activated, you have to get started. Click on Ethereum. On the left hand side, you can see Ethereum. So just click on Ethereum. You should be in this particular screen. You have to create a new project. Okay, on the right side, there'll be an option to create new project. So click on create new project and name it as my project. This is the name of the project, my project. Click on create new project and my project. I hope everyone have completed. Now let us go back to command prompt. So here we'll be teaching how to write program in the command prompt itself. Okay, so this is a very simple way. You can either write it in Visual Studio Code. You can write the entire command. So whatever I'll be teaching in the next few minutes, you can write it in the entire Visual Studio platform and you can run it. Or there's a plan to write and run all these commands on the command line. So let us explore command line. So before typing anything, just navigate to the particular folder. So wherever you have installed Node.js. Yeah. So the keyword you have to type here is node. So once you are into the Node.js folder, you have to type NODE. So once you enter node, so you will come to this terminal where you can type things. So as you can see, there's a blinking cursor over here. So you can type anything here. So till you come here, just follow the steps. Navigate to Node.js folder, then type in node. Okay, if this is difficult, you can just enter into any of these. You can just enter on the Visual Studio Code itself. Not a problem. You can type in everything. Yes. So these are all the functions which are present in Web3. So let me just explain everything again. In the command prompt, oh, this is pretty small. I can't zoom it as well, so that's a bit of an issue. So what I did was, in the command prompt, I navigated to my current folder, which was on the desktop. Everyone, please, pay some attention here. You might miss out again. So it should be in users and your current directory or desktop. I created a folder called as Node.js. Navigate to that particular folder. So once you navigate to that particular folder, type in Node. So as soon as you type in NODE Node, so it lets you enter commands on the command prompt itself. You need not use the Visual Studio Code to enter all these commands. Okay. So what you need to do is there'll be a blinking cursor here that indicates that you are in the command prompt mode. So you can start typing in all the code in command prompt itself. Now use this code called, it's a variable, web3 is equal to require web3. So what you're doing, you're importing a pre-built package called as web3. So I think it's here. So this is the package that you need to type. Everyone, please type this in your command prompt. Variable web3 is equal to require web3. Okay. So once this is done, just to check if it has been, downloaded properly, just type in web3. In the command prompt itself, just type in web3. So as soon as you type in web3, it should list out all the functions which are available. I'll just wait for one more minute. Everyone, please execute web3 and just check. I'll repeat again for those of you who have not followed. Navigate to Node.js folder on your command prompt, just like how you were doing in the morning. Type in Node. So why you are typing in Node? Because this particular statement enables you to type code on the command prompt itself. So this is the command. So once you enter. So once you enter Node here, you will be redirected to a place where you can enter all the code. So type in web3. So once you type in web3, all the functionalities will be listed out here. So you can see, you can check out all the functions which have been included. So now we have successfully imported web3. Now there are certain conversions here. As you can see, the green colored screen.
ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರೋ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
I think someone has turned on their.
ನೀವು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ ಅದಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೀಬಿಲ್ಡ್
ಕೋಆರ್ಡಿನೇಟರ್
ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ವೋ ಏನ್ ಕತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
Okay. Coordinator, please ask them to mute.
ರೀಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಬರೀ ಇದೊಂದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ರೀಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ರೀಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Coordinator, please, if you are there, can you ask them to mute?
ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಏನೋ ಬಂದಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೆ ಲೇಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
ಸಿ ಲೇಬಲ್ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ.
ನೋಡು. ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರ ಅಂತ. ಬಂತಾ? ಈಗ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡು, ಬಂದಿದ್ಯಾ? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡು. ನೀನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ 36 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಐಡಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದೆ, ಓಕೆ. ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕೊಡು.
Okay, I guess everyone have installed W3 and hope you can view all these functions and all these values. So these are all the values of all the blockchain or the cryptocurrencies. As you can see, there is Ether here. So you can see this is the value of Ether and so on. So if you have done this, you reach the first part. So what you guys need to do is just go on to infura.io again, Ethereum, click on Ethereum. I had asked everyone to come till here. Infura.io, click on Ethereum, then click on the new project that you have created. Everyone should create a new project, create new project. Then you have to enter a project name and you'll be greeted with this particular dashboard. So in this dashboard, you have to click on the first part, that is my project. Go to settings, my project and settings. If you scroll down, there is something called endpoint. You need to copy that because we are integrating this particular blockchain to our Web3 Js. This is a very important part. So this is where the major things are going to come into play. So we are linking the blockchain into linking the blockchain decentralized blockchain to Ethereum blockchain to our Web3 Js. So I want everyone to copy the endpoint. So this is the endpoint. The first one, don't copy the second one, copy the first one. It's a URL, https mainnet infura.io. Everyone please copy this. This might be different for everyone. This won't be the same. Then go to the command prompt again. So in the command prompt, please type in the following things. Variable URL. Sorry. Yes, you need to paste that particular URL, that is the endpoint, into the variable called as URL. Make sure you put a semicolon at the end. Yeah, now you have linked that particular with your blockchain environment. Now there are a few more steps. I think it's better if I type it here. It's not visible, I guess. I'll just type it. So this is the first step that you need to perform. So once you perform this step, just type in Web3 and just check if it is installed properly. All the libraries, all the functions will be listed out. After that, what you need to do is you go to Infura, copy the endpoint. So once you copy the endpoint, type the following things. Variable URL is equal to, you need to paste the URL here. Make sure you semicolon. Okay, do that as well. Now there is, you have to create an object. So you need to create this object from Web3 class. So Web3 is a class again. So you have to create an object. So variable Web3 is equal to new Web3 URL. And you need to execute that. Let me just repeat all the steps. Go to Infura, Ethereum, click on My Project, Settings. In the settings, you will find Endpoint. Copy the endpoint URL, that is HTTPS mainnet Infura. So once you copy this, come back to your code or wherever you have done. If you have done on command prompt, it's fine. Or if you have done here, problem, then variable web3 is equal to new web3 URL. So this is the other statement that you have to execute. Please complete it till here. Now, after you have done this, you need to go to Google. There is something called as Etherscan. Etherscan. Everyone go to etherscan.io/accounts. So what is Etherscan? So this is a website which is going to track all the transactions in the blockchain. All the cryptocurrency transactions are being tracked by this particular website. It is etherscan.io. etherscan.io. Go to accounts/accounts. So you'll find multiple ethers which are being transferred, which are being mined. As you can see here, these are all the ethers, different ethers transactions. These are all the transaction addresses basically. As you can see, this is the balance which is present in so and so account. We'll just select one of them. So this is the balance ether which is left, and the current ether value of this particular balance, whatever is there, it is around 6 billion worth ether, which is present here. So we want you to copy this particular address. So what we are trying to do now is we are trying to see what is the balance which is present in a random transaction. In a random transaction in a blockchain, we'll see what is the balance available. Just copy the address. We'll go back. Paste the address of that particular transaction. Okay. So once you paste the address of that particular transaction, there are other statements to be executed. I'll just show them one by one. we are writing another function here. So please execute them one by one in the command prompt. Don't worry about the last statement. I'll be explaining that. But till here, please execute them. If you're not getting it, please install it from the beginning. That is from installing Web3, npm install Web3. So please start from there in the command prompt. Everyone, can you please see the screen? I've got the complete output. I have executed step by step here. It's very clear of what I've done. So I'll be explaining from the scratch about how to get this particular value. Now you have to install npm w3. So once you have installed npm w3, so this starts from here. Npm install w3. Once you have successfully installed, you'll be able to get this particular version number w3 at 1.3.1. Once you have got the version number, it is successfully installed. Click on node, type node. So once you type in node, it will enable you to enter commands in command prompt. So what is the first command in command prompt? You are importing Web3 built-in package. So this was all explained before. You are importing Web3 built-in package. So then variable Web3 is equal to new Web3. You are creating an object with this particular endpoint. So what is the endpoint? So this is the endpoint that we have got. This is the endpoint in Fura website. So you have to connect this particular endpoint and you have to create a new object. So we have created a new object using the endpoint here. So after creating the new object, we have to give the address of an Ether transaction or an Ether blockchain network. Where do we get this address of an Ethereum blockchain network? We go to etherscan.io. So once you go to etherscan.io, you select one particular transaction. So this is etherscan.io/accounts. I'm going to select a particular transaction. So can you see here? Balance is 5260174. So we are trying to extract the same balance here. So what we are trying to do is we are getting the address. So click on that, and the top part would be the address. So click on the address, copy the address, enter it into a variable. Before you had entered you had created a new object. Now it's a variable. Okay. Now web3.eth, it's ETH. So you are trying to get balance. Get balance is a built-in function. So if you want to see get balance built-in function, you have to type in web3. So once you type in web3, you will find the built-in function. So get balance address. So from which address it has to get the balance of this particular transaction. So address of this particular transaction, you have to get address. Then if there is any error, the error message will be displayed. Then you are assigning balance to a variable called balance. It's all built-in function. There's nothing to worry. You have to type in balance. It will show. Now, what is actually, this is actually something in a format called as WEI, W-E-I. So WEI is the smallest ether. It is the smallest value of an ether. Now we have to convert the WEI to ether. So there is one last function. If you execute that, the entire thing is completed. Type w3 dot utils dot. Now we are converting this entire value. It's in WEI format, WEI format. Now this format, it should be converted to ether format. So what we'll be doing is WEI to ether, from WEI to ether. From WEI, what are we converting? We are converting the balance. We are converting the balance to ether. So currently, this is the ether balance which is present in that particular transaction. In the transaction where this is the address. So there is actually a exchange happening, exchange of Ethereum. So how much Ethereum is left or how much balance is left in that particular transaction is this value. This is quite complicated, but this is how things in blockchain. So tomorrow we'll be having a complete understanding. We'll be starting a project from the scratch. So you'll be knowing how to access a blockchain, how to create a blockchain, then how to transfer values and so on. So that's it for today. We have come to the end of the session, and today's one example was pending. So that example, I'll take it up tomorrow again. That was because of classes and object name clash. I told I'll be taking up at then. It's already late now. So what I'll be doing is I'll be covering that example first. I'll be showing you the output. So that completes Node and Web3. Some more concepts of Web3 is pending still. So I'll finish Web3 and we'll be going on with the project tomorrow. So this is what we have done since the first two sessions. We have been introduced to Node.js. Then we did some examples. We handled some built-in classes. Then we moved on to W3. We understood why we need W3 in a blockchain network, because it's not a straight server where we can use jQuery and where we can use where we can directly fetch the information. This is a decentralized system. Blockchain is a completely decentralized system. Data is not present in a single server. Data is being distributed in all the systems. So with a single jQuery, we cannot fetch in data. So we are using this particular framework called as Web3 Js to partner with a third-party Ethereum client. So which is the third-party Ethereum client that we are using? So third-party Ethereum client is Infura.io. So this is the third-party Ethereum client which we are using. And Ethereum, from this Ethereum client, we have to extract data in JSON format using Web3 Js. So these are all the high-level concepts we have dealt with. The last part is a bit confusing. I'll explain again everything one by one, but you have to get this particular output. So when you execute everything, this particular output is the ether balance. So this is how you have to get the output. So if you've got till here, then everything is set for tomorrow's project. So tomorrow what I'll do is I'll explain everything once again in brief. Then we'll move on to the project. Tomorrow it will be a bit tight because the project is pretty big. We have to finish it in the given spec time. So we'll be going a bit quick. If required, I'll share the resources as well. Steps to install everything. Everything will be shared in a document. Probably you can contact the coordinator and get all the details. But tomorrow will be a bit quick. So yes, that's it. We have come to the end of this session. Thank you. And if you have any queries, you can ask me right now. If not, we'll just end the session.
Participants, if you have any query, you can ask. Thank you, Suprit sir.
Yes, welcome, sir.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, we will meet, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.